The house feels larger than before, like echoes learn my name. I walk through days on borrowed strength, nothing feels the same. Your side of the bed stays untouched, like time forgot to move. I keep waking up surprised by the truth. They said I'd feel relief, but I just feel space. After love ends, the world keeps going on, but I move slow through it, like something's gone. I don't fall apart like I thought I would. I've just been, yeah, this is after love. I stopped checking all the reasons, stopped asking who was wrong. But every quiet moment knows where my heart belongs. Your name doesn't break me loudly, it just waves like a song I don't play anymore. I still know the way. I survived the goodbye, but not the after. After loving in the quiet, in the slow, I learned how to let you go, but not how not to know. I don't ask for second chances, it's not my prayer. Yeah, after love ends, I'm still here. Maybe love isn't the ending, maybe it's the scar. Maybe losing you is how I learn who I am. I don't regret the way I loved or the heart I gave. I just didn't know how empty life could feel this way. After loving, I'll find myself again. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, right to the end. Even if the ache returns, even if it stays, after love ends, I remain. Some endings don't destroy you, they change you. I wake up later than I used to, like mornings lost their sound. I move through days on autopilot, just passing time around. Your name doesn't cut me deeply, it just wears me thin. Like loving you took something I don't know how to bring back in. They say I look the same, I know I don't. I'm fading after love, not breaking, just growing numb. I gave my best years honestly, now I don't feel much. I don't cry, I don't scream, I just slowly change. Yeah, I'm fading after love, and it's strange. I still remember who I was when your hand was in mine. How I laughed without thinking, how I felt alive. Now even good days feel feel distant, like they don't belong. I'm still standing in the light, but something's gone. I didn't lose you all at once, I lost myself. I'm fading after love, in the quiet, in the slow. I survived the letting go, but now we're followed though. I don't wish you back again, that's not my plea. Yeah, I'm fading after love, and it scares me. Maybe love leaves fingerprints on who you used to be. Maybe healing isn't fixing, it's learning how to feel. I don't hate the way it ended, I hate what it took. I wish I could find myself again in the places I once loved. I was fading after love, but I won't disappear. I loved you honest, loved you deeply. That part's still here, even if I feel lost sometimes, even if I change. I was fading after love, now I'm staying. Some loves don't break your heart, they dim the light. I felt the distance growing before you said a word. Your smile stayed polite, but your heart was never sure. I told myself love meant patience, that staying proved me strong. I ignored the way the silence started feeling wrong. You were already drifting, I was still holding ground. I held on when everything was gone. I held on to a feeling you moved on from. I don't blame you for leaving, I just wish I'd known. Yeah, I held on too long. We talked like nothing was broken, like time would fix the cracks. I gave you all my understanding, never asked it back. Your touch felt more like habit than something you still chose. I kept calling it forever, even when it showed. Oh, you called it needing space, I called it love. I held on in the quiet, in the slow. I kept warm in every memory, you let them go. I don't hate the way you left, it's not my tone. Yeah, I held on alone. Maybe holding on isn't courage, maybe it's fear in disguise. Maybe I was scared of who I'd be if I said goodbye. I don't regret the way I loved or the heart I gave. I just wish I listened sooner to the egg. I held on, but I won't anymore. I loved you honest, loved you deeply. I gave my core. I carry what we were with kindness, not the pain. I held on, now I teaches you when to release. I stayed when you pulled away, like love could change your mind. I read between the pauses, found answers I denied. You smiled like you were trying, but your heart was never home. I kept calling it forever while loving you alone. I gave you everything, you gave me time. I loved alone when you were halfway gone. I held us up with both my hands till all my strength was gone. I don't blame you for leaving, I just wish I'd known. Yeah, I loved alone. We talked like strangers, being careful not to wake the truth. Your touch felt more like habit than something you choose. I made excuses for the distance, said love just needed space, but love shouldn't feel like waiting in the same place. You said you were still here, I felt the light. I loved alone, in the quiet, in the slow. I kept warm in every memory. You let them go. I don't ask you to come back, that's not my tone. Yeah, I loved alone. Maybe loving someone isn't enough to stay. Maybe hearts don't break loudly, they drift away. I don't regret the way I loved or the faith I gave. I just wish love loved me back the same. I loved alone, but I want any more. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that I'm sure. I'll carry what we were with kindness, not the pain. I loved alone, now I choose me. Some love teaches you who you are. I remember us before the wait, before the nights learned how to wait. Your laugh came easy, natural, like breathing, didn't take a break. We talked like time was on our side, like endings didn't exist. I didn't know how fragile joy was till it became this. I don't go looking for the past, it finds me anyway. I remember us, not how it ended, but how it felt when love was honest, when we were ourselves. I don't wish it back, I don't pretend it stayed. Yeah, I remember us in a gentle way. remember how your hand felt when it fit into mine, how even silence sounded safe. When we were fine, the world felt smaller in the best way, like we had our own space. Funny how the softest moments are the ones that stay. I've learned to hold the memory without the pain. I remember us in the quiet and the slow, before love learned distance, before letting go. I don't blame what we became or who we were. Yeah, I remember us. Maybe love doesn't fail, maybe it just transforms. Maybe some hearts meet only once to keep each other warm. I don't regret the way I loved or the time we gave. I just carry what was real and let the rest fade. I remember us, but I live in now. I loved you honest, loved you deeply. I still allow, even if the memory comes like a quiet rush. I remember us, and that's enough. On love doesn't know, so love doesn't last forever. It lasts honestly. You were done, like nothing held you there. I stood frozen in the doorway, still breathing in your air. The night didn't ask me questions, it just stayed. I felt the weight of everything you didn't say. You found your way out of the dark. I stayed inside, I stayed crying when you were already gone. I stayed crying, trying to be strong. I didn't chase you down the street, I didn't scream your name. Yeah, I stayed crying in the quiet. You all our memories like it didn't know the end. I held on to broken sentences like they could still pretend. My hands were shaking empty, my heart felt thin. I learned how loud the silence gets when no one's listening. You closed the door on yesterday. I stayed crying in the middle of the night. I stayed crying till the tears ran dry. I don't blame the way you left or the truth you chose. Yeah, I stayed crying alone. Maybe crying isn't weakness, maybe it's release. Maybe loving you was breaking me so I could breathe. I don't hate myself for feeling all the pain. I just wish you knew what staying cost me. I stay crying, but I'm still standing now. I loved you honest, loved you deeply. I don't deserve love, even if the ache returns, even if tears fall in silence, but they still mean everything. You didn't say you were leaving, you just stopped staying close. Your eyes were somewhere distant before I noticed. We talked around the truth gently, like it wouldn't matter then. But silence learned our language before we did. I waited for a reason, you waited for the end. I was left in silence, where your words should be. No goodbye, no explanation, just a space in me. I don't scream, I don't break, I just listen. Yeah, I was left in silence. Stayed in conversation like it still belonged. I smiled through the questions, said I was strong. Every room still holds your outline, like it doesn't know that love can disappear without saying so. You found peace in walking away, I stayed to understand. I was left in silence in the middle of my days. I learned how to breathe alone in quieter ways. I don't ask for closure now, I don't resist it. Yeah, I was left in silence. Go still. Maybe hearts stop choosing before they break the will. I don't hate the way you left, that's not my truth. I just hate how much was said without saying you. I was left in silence, but I won't stay unheard. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, every unsaid word. Even if the quiet returns, even if it stays, I was left in silence, but I'm finding my voice. Some endings don't echo, they settle. Wasn't the door you closed that hurt the most? It was the way love stopped living in us both. You stayed for a while in body, but your heart went free. I felt love slipping out before it left me. I kept waiting for the feeling you already lost. Love let me standing where we were. I was still believing you were already unsure. I don't hate the way you changed or the truth you said. The nights don't ask me questions, they just sit and stay. Every quiet moment knows what words couldn't say. I don't replay the ending loudly, I replay the calm, the way love slowly disappeared while we carried on. You called it growing, I felt the cause. Love left me in the quiet, in the slow. I kept warming every memory, you let it go. No final fight, no last goodbye, just silence and free. Yeah, yeah, love left me. Maybe love doesn't vanish, maybe it moves on. Maybe hearts don't break loudly, they wake up alone. I don't regret the way I loved or the faith I gave. I just didn't know love could leave this way. Love left me, but I didn't disappear. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that much is clear. Even if I stand alone now, even if I see love left me, but I'm still me. Some love doesn't end with goodbye, it just leaves. We held each other like we always did, but something felt too light. Your eyes were already somewhere else before the final night. I kept believing closeness meant you'd always want to stay. I didn't feel the moment love began to slip away. I was holding tighter, you were letting go. Love slipped away, right out of my hands. I tried to hold the feeling, but it couldn't stand. I don't blame the way you changed, or the words you couldn't say. Yeah, love slipped away. We talked like we were still okay, like silence wasn't loud. I smiled through the distance, hoping love would come around. Your touch felt more like memory than something meant to stay. I knew before you said goodbye, love had slipped away. You said nothing's really wrong, I felt the truth. Love slipped away, in the quiet, in the slow. I kept warming every moment, you let it go. No final fight, no shattered trust, just time pulling us apart. Yeah, love slipped away and broke my heart. Maybe love doesn't disappear, it just grows thin. Maybe hearts stop choosing before the end begins. I don't regret the way I loved or the faith I gave. I just wish I felt the moment love slipped away. leave loudly, it slips away. We stood so close to honesty, but never crossed the line. Every truth stayed on our lips, then learned to bide its time. Your eyes asked all the questions, my mouth was too afraid. We loved each other quietly in words we never said. I felt your heart reach for me, then pull away. It was our love unsaid, living in the space between your breath and mine, between the fear and faith. I was still hoping you'd speak. You waited just the same. Yeah, it was our love unsaid, and it still remains. We talked about the weather, about anything but us, like naming it would break it, like silence meant we'd last. I memorized your pauses, you memorized my doubt. Funny how the deepest love never made a sound. You smiled like you understood. I didn't dare, it was our love unsaid. In the quiet, in the slow, I kept waiting for a moment you'd never show. No confession, no goodbye, just distance in its place. Yeah, it was our love unsaid, and I was the aid. Maybe love doesn't always fail, maybe it waits too long. Maybe hearts miss their chance when they're scared of being wrong. I would've said it differently if I knew back then that silence can be louder than the end. It was our love unsaid, but it was real to me. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, even silently. I'll carry what we never spoke with grace instead of pain. It was our love unsaid, but it still changed me. Some love doesn't live in words, it lives in what you never say. The days keep asking how I am. I say I'm fine again. I've learned how to sound convincing like this ache will end. I wake up, tie my shoes, walk through another day, but everything I do feels heavier since you walked away. I didn't fall apart completely, I just stayed. I'm still here hurting, but I don't show the pain. I smile like I've healed enough to carry on this way. I don't scream, I don't break down, I just breathe through it. Yeah, I'm still here hurting and living within. Your name doesn't stop my breathing, it just slows me down. Like a song I don't play anymore, but still know the sound. I moved all the pictures out of sight, said I'm stronger now, but strength is just learning how to hurt without making a sound. They think I've already moved on, I haven't said otherwise. I'm still here hurting in the quiet, in the slow. I learned how to live without you, but not how to let go. I don't ask for what we lost, I don't beg the truth. Yeah, I'm still here hurting, and it's still you. Maybe healing isn't leaving what broke your heart behind. Maybe it's learning how to stay without losing your mind. I don't need you back again, that's not my plea. I just need the hurt to stop sounding like me. I'm still here hurting, but I won't disappear. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that much is clear. Even if the ache returns, even if it's true, I'm still here hurting, but I'm still me too. Some pain doesn't end, it teaches you how to stand. The streets all look familiar, but I don't know where I am. I keep walking in circles, trying to understand. Everyone keeps moving forward like they know the way. I'm standing in the moment where it didn't stay. They say time pulls you ahead, but I'm still here. I'm still lost there, where your love disappeared. Still lost there, in the year you left me here. I don't cry, I don't scream, I just stare. Yeah, I'm still lost there. Your name doesn't hurt like before, it just feels unclear, like a sign without a meaning. I keep passing every year. I try to build a life around it, try to make it make sense, but everything I touch still points to where we ended. I moved on in all the ways that people see. I'm still lost there, in the quiet, in the slow. I survived the letting go, but now what followed though? I don't wish you'd come back now, that's not my prayer. Yeah, yeah, I'm still lost there. Maybe being lost isn't weakness, maybe it's proof I love. Maybe finding myself again means walking through the dust. I don't hate who I became, staying here. I just don't know how to leave without you near. I was still lost there, but learning how to move. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that was true. Even if I don't know the way, even if I'm scared, I was still lost there. Now I'm almost somewhere. Some places don't disappear, they loosen. You said goodbye without a reason, like the words ran out. Your eyes avoided mine like they knew the route. I stood there waiting for something, anything to hold, but the moment passed right through me and left me cold. They say endings bring relief, this one just stayed. It was the empty goodbye, no truth, no lie, just a space where love used to try. I didn't beg, I didn't fight, I just watched it die. Yeah, it was the empty goodbye. Still keeps your shadow like it doesn't know that love can leave without a sound and never show. I replayed every second looking for a sign, but silence was the only thing you left behind. You walked into tomorrow, I stayed that night. It was the empty goodbye, in the quiet, in the slow. I was still holding on to us you already let go. No last words to remember, no reason why. Yeah, it was the empty goodbye. Maybe some goodbyes are hollow because the love left first. Maybe hearts stop choosing long before the worst. I don't hate the way you left, that's not my fight. I just hate how nothing said it was the last night. It was the empty goodbye, but it won't all my days. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that won't fade. Even if the questions stay, even if I try, it was the empty goodbye, and I survived. Some goodbyes unloud, they're empty. The future we imagined, lost the shape of your name. The days kept moving like nothing was ever changed. I let go of what we Something deeper than the memory still stirs. I thought love would disappear when you walked away, but the heart remains, even after the pain, even when the nights still call your name. I don't hold on like before, I don't beg or chase, yeah, the heart remains. I don't replay the ending loudly, I don't ask what went wrong. I learned how to sit with the silence and still move on. Your voice doesn't live in my breathing like it used to do, but love leaves something honest when it's true. I survived the letting go, but something stayed. Yeah, the heart remains in the quiet, in the slow. I learned how to live without you, but not how to feel less love. I don't wish you back again, that's not my way. Yeah, the heart remains. Maybe love isn't meant to vanish when it ends. Maybe hearts don't forget, they just bend. I don't regret the way I loved or the time I gave. I just learned that even after loss, the heart remains. Yeah, the heart remains, but it won't break me now. I loved you honest, loved you deeply. That truth stays proud, even if the ache returns, even if it stays. Yeah, the heart remains, and so do I. Some love doesn't stay in your life, it stays in your heart. We talked around the truth like strangers, careful not to say too much. Your eyes kept finding somewhere else when I reached for your touch. The room felt full of sentences we never let begin. I learned how loud the pause could be in the quiet between. You smiled like nothing was changing. I felt it anyway, and it was the quiet between every word you didn't say. Well, love started loosening and slowly slipped away. I was still leaning forward, you were pulling free. Yeah, it was the quiet between that ended you and me. Your laughter sounded borrowed, like it didn't want to stay. We shared the same small moments, but not the same faith. I read the spaces in your breathing, found the truth I feared. Love doesn't always leave loudly, it disappeared. was a quiet between. In the middle of our days, I kept warm in every memory. You let it fade. No last fight, no final scene, just silence learning me. Yeah, it was a quiet between that broke us gently. Maybe love doesn't shatter, maybe it just goes still. Maybe hearts stop choosing before they lose the will. I would've listened closer if I knew that night was the last time the silence would feel this heavy. It was a quiet between, but I won't live there now. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that still counts. I'll carry what we were with grace, not the pain. It was a quiet between, and I walked away. Some endings aren't spoken, they're felt. We were standing in the same room, but miles away inside. Your eyes stopped asking questions, mine ran out of lies. We talked, nothing was ending, like love would still survive. But something fragile in your voice had already said goodbye. I felt it before the words, and the way you breathe. This was when we broke, not in anger, not in flames, just a quiet understanding that we weren't the same. I was still holding on to us, you were letting go. Yeah, this was when we broke, and it happened slow. Your touch felt careful, distant, like it didn't want to stay. I memorized the last warm moment before it slipped away. We stopped finishing our sentences, started guarding hearts. Funny how love doesn't shatter at once, it falls apart. You said we'll be okay, I felt the end. This was when we broke, in the quiet, in the slow. I kept warming every memory, you let it go. No final fight, no closing door, just truth exposed. Yeah, this was when we broke. Maybe love breaks softly, so it doesn't destroy everything we once were, every bit of joy. I would've listened closer, I would've held tighter, if I knew that night was our last forever. This was when we broke, but I won't break with it now. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that much I allow. I'll carry what we were with grace. Some moments don't in love, they reveal the truth. We used to feel everything, even the smallest change. Now we sit in the same room, but nothing feels the same. Your smile doesn't reach your eyes, mine doesn't try. We talk like we're being careful not to ask why. I noticed the warmth was leaving before the love was gone. This is where feelings fade. Now with tears, now with blame. Just a quiet growing distance, calling out our names. I was still holding on to us, you were letting go. Yeah, this is where feelings fade, and I felt it slow. Your touch feels lighter than before, like it's unsure to stay. I memorize the little things that are slipping away. We don't argue, we don't break, we just drift apart. Funny how silence learns the truth before the heart. You said nothing's really wrong. I felt the change. This is where feelings fade, in the quiet, in the slow. I kept warming every memory. You let it go, no final fight, no last goodbye, just love turning low. Yeah, this is where feelings fade, and I know maybe love doesn't shatter, maybe it just grows tired. Maybe hearts stop reaching when they've already tried. I don't hate the way you change or the way I stay. I just wish we noticed sooner where feelings fade. This is where feelings fade, but I won't disappear. I loved you honest, loved you deeply. That much is clear. Even if the warmth is gone, even if we change, this is where feelings fade, and I walk away. Some endings don't hurt all at once, they slowly dim. You walked away like you were certain, like nothing tied you here. Your steps were steady, unafraid, mine disappeared. I stood there holding all the reasons I never got to say. You didn't pause, you didn't turn, you just walked away. I waited for hesitation, it never came. You never looked back, like we never meant a thing, like love was just a moment you didn't need. I was still standing in the past, watching you move on. Yeah, you never looked back, and I us were gone. Your name stayed in my breathing long after you were free. I learned how to pretend I'm fine so no one worries. You found a life that fits you better. I stayed with what we were. Funny how the one who loves more always hurts. You called it closure, I felt erased. I felt erased. You never looked back in the quiet, in the slow. I was still choosing us. You already chose to go. No goodbye wave, no final sign, just space between. Yeah, you never looked back, and I saw everything. Maybe loving me was heavy, maybe leaving felt like air. Maybe you had to forget us just to get there. I don't hate you for surviving, that's not my truth. I just wish you felt the weight of losing me too. You never look back, but I won't stay unseen. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that was me. Even if you don't remember, even if you're gone, you never look back, but I held on. Some people leave like nothing followed them. I was standing right in front of you, like I'd always been. Same eyes, same heart, you just didn't see them. You smiled like I was a stranger, like nothing stayed. I felt the moment slip away when you looked the other way. I didn't lose you suddenly, I watched you choose. You walked past like I was never there, like all the nights we stayed awake vanished in the air. I didn't reach, I didn't call, I just let it pass. Yeah, you walked past, and that was that. Your footsteps sounded confident, like you knew where to go. Mine stayed frozen in the memory of what we used to know. I kept wondering if you felt it, that split-second pain when two lives almost touched again, but didn't say a name. You carried on so easily, I stood still. You walked past in the quiet, in the slow. I was still holding on to us. You already let go. No goodbye, no final glance, just time moving fast. Yeah, you walked past. Maybe loving me was heavy, maybe leaving felt like air. Maybe you had to forget me just to get there. I don't hate the way you moved on, that's not my truth. I just wish you felt the weight of walking past me too. You walked past, but I won't stay unseen. I loved you honest, loved you deeply, that was me. Even if you don't remember, even if you're gone, you walk past, but I held on. Some people don't leave loudly, they just walk past. You said goodbye like it was over, like nothing would remain. But some words don't know how to leave, they learn your name. I watched the door close slowly, heard the final sound, but something in the quiet stayed around. You walked into tomorrow, I stayed where we were. Your goodbye stayed long after you were gone. It settled in my breathing, it followed me along. I don't cry the way I used to, I don't ask you why. Yeah, your goodbye stayed, and so did I. The days kept finding their rhythm, like nothing ever changed. But every calm moment knows what I still carry. I don't replay the ending loudly, I replay the calm, the way you said my name like nothing was wrong. I let go of the future, but not that day. Yeah, your goodbye stayed in the middle of my nights, in every almost happy moment that didn't feel right. I don't wish you'd come back, that's not my way. Yeah, your goodbye stayed. Maybe goodbyes aren't moments, maybe they're way. Maybe some endings follow you long after they're made. I don't need another answer, I don't need a sign, I just need this goodbye to loosen with time. Your goodbye stayed, but it won't own my life. I love you honest, loved you deeply, that wasn't a lie. Even if the memory calls, even if it's true, your goodbye stayed. But I'm moving too. Some goodbyes don't leave, they soften, soften.